Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video on E.Stampley art. The video today is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be swatching all of my wonderful Distress Oxide inks that I've acquired over the past few years. Some I've gotten over the past few months with wonderful holiday sales and coupons and different things. And then these over here I've gotten fairly recently. Michael's had a odd sale where I guess they were clearancing out all the Distress Oxide as well as like a lot of the Tim Holtz products. So I got a lot of these from that. And then I got a couple from these and this set here. I got a couple from JoAnn's using some coupons before they started closing. We'll get into that. But yes, I'm using this swatch sheet set that I downloaded and printed from Lou Collins. I'll put a link down below if you want to get your own. But yeah, so print out all the different colors, and then it had these little windows that you cut out and you put, and then you'll swatch them, and then you can have a wonderful little square of swatch. And then also on the same website, it had this wonderful list of the different colors that you can cut out and put on the end of the ink pad. And so then when you put them in your container, you'll be able to see what color it is. So I'm going to do all that in this video. So while I'm swatching out all these beautiful colors, I'm going to be talking about the terrible closing of the JoAnn stores. This is terrible. It's an end of an era. And so I'm going to be discussing that. And with all that being said, why don't we get started? Take it over, voice over me. Okay, so I just wanted to take a moment while I'm swatching all these wonderful inks out to talk about the terrible elephant in the sewing and crafting world that we've been living with for the past few months, and that is JoAnn's closing. This marks basically a month before I believe all the stores should be closing, and it does impact me personally because I work at a JoAnn's, and I have for the past almost couple of decades. It's just, as a person who is a creative person who probably has done a bunch of things because I work in that environment, it's very sad to see that that's ending. I'm one of the lucky few who JoAnn's is actually a part-time gig for me, so I have a full-time job to back me up. But a lot of my coworkers are not, that lucky. JoAnn's is their full-time job, and it's sad to see, them having to go through this and find another position. I mean, all the people I know are very resilient, and they're, really good at what they do, and I know they'll be fine and they'll land on their feet. But it just sucks that they have to go through this anyway. It's sad that we've gotten to this point. I'm not going to go into, why this has happened and berate JoAnn's and all that. I mean, there are plenty of videos and articles and different things online that you can read and you can find about that. If that's what you're looking for, this is not going to be that. Am I disappointed? Yeah, I of course I am. I'm very disappointed that it's come to this, but it is what it is. If nothing else, I just want to talk about my creative journey. When I think the first time I remember wanting to do a sewing project, I think was in college. And I remember I got my first sewing machine. I actually got my first sewing machine at a Sears. I still have it. It is a workhorse. I love it. I will be very upset the day it dies. But I know the first fabric store I remember going to was a Hancock Fabric, which is another store that is gone by the wayside now. And I was sad when it went out of business. I still actually have a lot of the tools that I got in the first little kind of like sewing kit that I got. I think it was like a pair of scissors, so tape measure, different things. I know I still have that tape measure, but then obviously JoAnn's was a close second. You know, I went there all the time. And then when it came to, I wanted to get like a part-time job, you know, during the holidays to get some extra cash. I had applied to a couple stores that, you know, were of interest to me, Michael's and JoAnn's. And JoAnn's is the one that called me, and so I started working there and wasn't expecting to work there as long as I did, but I did. And, you know, I've met a lot of wonderful people along the way. Obviously, we've lost some people as well, whether it's them, you know, leaving and moving on, or actually, you know, unfortunately passing on. But it's been a wonderful experience. I've learned lots of different crafts that I don't know if I would have delved into if not being there and around that environment, being like, oh, what's this new thing that came in? Oh, what is this thing, you know? And then looking into it, and then, you know, of course, working there and getting an employee discount is great, but, you know, you still purchasing the items and giving, you know, your finances to something that you think might be fun, or think that may just be something cool to do. All in all, you know, it is sad, you know, that we're losing, you know, a lot of brick and mortar stores like this. You know, JoAnn's is just, you know, on the list of places that are closing up. So it's sad. It's very sad that it's happening, and you know, I really don't have too many words other than what I've already said. You know, I do want to, you know, shout out and say, hey, you know, if there are things that you want, you know, go to your local JoAnn's if it's still open near you. I know a lot of them have already closed. But, you know, if there's one near you and there's, you know, some stuff you may want that we may have, you know, go and purchase them. I know it doesn't save the store, but, you know, I think it means a lot that the crafting, sewing community are, you know, kind of coming out in support in a way of, you know, this last hurrah that the store will have. And also, you know, I want to encourage those who do love sewing and do love crafting. There will be another path. It may not be this path, but there are other stores. I mean, there are Michael's. I've noticed, at least in my area, that the Michael's seems to be gathering more like fabric materials and stuff to, I believe, to help fill that void, which is great. They won't have the selection, I think, that a JoAnn's and stuff will have, but, you know, it's better than nothing. There are, you know, Hobby Lobbies for those who, you know, want to shop there. I'm not going to get into that. And, you know, your local, you know, quilt shops, if you're a quilter, or just like cotton materials, you know, that's essentially what quilting is cotton materials. You don't have to use it just for that. There are local fabric stores depending on where you are. You just have to find them. It may cost you a little bit more, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, if that is your passion or you enjoy it, then you will find a way. You will find a way. We always find a way when we want to do something. So yes, I just wanted to, you know, give my 2 cents on this particular situation, since it is, you know, actually quite personal to me, and just let you know that, hey, I'm sad too, just as much as you guys, but you know, I'll hate that it's going, but it doesn't mean it will diminish my crafting love or capabilities. It's just I have to find another way to, you know, get items I need for whatever project or that I want to do. Might be a little more inconvenient, but like I said, there's always a way. All right, check out these beautiful colors that have been swatched. So wonderful. It'll be so helpful just to look at this, trying to get an idea of the colors that I want to use without having to like test them out first, really. And then obviously empty spaces ready for ones that I am missing if I want to fill those in. And then also great to have the labels on the end, which is fantastic. So when this is all nice and closed up, I can still see what colors are in there. That's great. And all 3 of these are full, so I'm gonna have to get another empty one for if I'm gonna get additional colors to fill that one up. But I just wanna thank you guys for listening to me talk about my personal JoAnn's experience. And I would love to hear from you guys down below. What is your JoAnn's experience? What are you gonna take away from missing this wonderful artistic, creative institution? Of course, I always love to thank you guys for tuning in to this video. A little bit more personal and bloggy, but that's okay. And if you want to follow me, of course, on YouTube, feel free to hit the notification bell or the red subscribe button somewhere down there, and it will let you know about new videos when they are coming out on the channel. Of course, if you want to follow more of my artistic journey, you can always do so on Instagram, Threads, Bluesky, and Cara. And of course, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this very personal video, and I will see you next time. Bye!